The recent leaks of Fortnite Chapter 5 have been insane. From the biggest live event ever to a season that will only be 1 month long, let's talk about all of this, starting off with the release of Chapter 5. A few days ago, tweets began to release talking about Fortnite Chapter 5 leaks, when it will release, and how many seasons this chapter will have. This might seem like some cool early information about the next chapter, but most of the community, including myself, were actually angry. We were confused and we're really just not too sure why Fortnite was ruining such a good chapter already, and I'm wondering the same thing. The reason as to why many people, including myself, do not want another short chapter is because of what happened last time. Chapter 3 was only 4 seasons long, which was actually a year long, and we struggled to get attached to it. This was also an issue with the location and the characters because we barely had any time to make those memories with them on the island. Initially, we thought Chapter 4 would be 4 seasons long, and then after that, it was going to be all over. New information has released telling us that the file name for Chapter 5 is version 28, and we're currently in version 24, meaning that after this season, we still have 3 more seasons left, so Chapter 4 will most likely close off with its 5th season leading into Chapter 5. This personally makes me quite a bit more satisfied with all of this news, because 4 seasons just feels way too short for an entire chapter of the game. So although it isn't too much of an extension by only a season, I'll take an extra season wherever I can at this point. But what if it's not even like that? What if it's barely an extension? The end date for Chapter 4 is still set to be at the end of November on November 30th, so regardless of how many seasons there are, Chapter 4 is still only roughly a year long. Even then, I'm still quite happy with it having at least 5 seasons, but let me know your thoughts in the comments. The other 2 changes to Chapter 4 that I believe will save it from this total mess is the in-game events. From what recent leaks have suggested, next season will most likely begin with a storyline in-game event, and it will be playable for quite a few weeks in the beginning of Season 3. It will not be a live event, and if you played Chapter 2 Season 6, you will know a similar thing happened then called the Zero Crisis. The Zero Crisis event was a solo player experience that you were automatically loaded into when you logged onto the season for the first time, and something like this again would be just as cool as a live event in my opinion, and it would give us good story whilst also making the wait for an actual event feel a lot shorter and much more enjoyable. Speaking of that in-game live event that we have been waiting for, when will it be happening and how long do we have to wait until it all goes down? Well, recently a file codenamed Durian was found by leakers and insiders, and it is a live event but not for this season. Instead, this live event will actually be taking place for the end of Chapter 4, and that is likely to be the next one we will get, being in November of this year. I'm quite surprised because I assumed if they were working on a live event right now, it would be for this season or at least next season, but they seem to be working ahead, so hopefully this event is massive and much better than Fracture. Now, in terms of us not having an actual live event until the end of a chapter, I'm not entirely sure how I feel about it. I'm decently happy with it considering we're still getting an event in some capacity next season, but that one's not a live event, so let's hope it begins with a great solo event and then Season 5 ends off in the same way, but as a massive live event. Now, as I mentioned earlier, Season 5 will be pretty jam-packed with an event and storyline and a battle pass and map changes, but it's looking to only be a single month long. We know that from the recent leaks, Season 3 will run from early June to the end of August, and that leaves Season 4 and 5 3 months combined to take place. That means that at the absolute longest, Season 5 is a month and a half long. Maybe it'll be like Season 4 Part 1 and then Season 4 Part 2 instead of jumping to Season 5. I'm not really sure, but nonetheless, it's very exciting to see, and I'll be interested to find out what info we get in the next update. To summarize all of this information for you, it seems like Fortnite is now doing annual chapters each year rather than longer 2-year chapters like Chapter 1 and 2 as well. Initially, we believed that this chapter would only be 4 seasons in length, but that information has recently changed. Now we know that it's more likely that it will have 5 seasons rather than just 4, and while it doesn't make much of a difference, it's still an improvement. This season will most likely not end with an in-game live event due to the story being slow and there being no real sign of an event in files, but the next season does seem to start off with one which could be single player, or it could also be later playable with friends and a squad to enjoy the experience with. In terms of Chapter 5's release, it is still said to come out within this year, and more specifically in late November. The live event that will finish off Chapter 4 is already being worked on now, so hopefully it's huge, it's exciting, it's got lots of storyline, it's got lore for characters, and I'm almost 100% sure it will absolutely destroy the monstrosity that we call Fracture. Like, surely it's better than that if they're working on it from now, surely it has to be amazing. I hope this makes you guys, alongside myself, a little bit more positive about all of this leaked news. I know the past few days have been very hectic and quite upsetting for quite a few people. That also includes me, and I myself am more hopeful than I previously was, so I hope you have a good one, subscribe to the channel, and feel free to join the Discord server in the description to talk about this with me and my audience, and I hope to see you all in Fortnite Chapter 5.